Welcome back, everybody. Let's continue along our way to the west, to Baragost, where we shall hopefully find some well-deserved rest, and maybe an ale or two. So let's head to Baragost here.
Of course, yeah.
And since we're probably going to be going, I think, west to the High Hedge anyway, let's head to the west side of town. Post Inn, I'm a big fan of. It has some of the most luxurious quarters we've ever stayed in, so that is where we shall make rest for the night.
Yes.
Or for the afternoon. And along the way, maybe we can get into more of this blood war business that we began speaking on our return from the Cloakwood Mine. So, the blood war, to recap, is fought between two sides that differ on the law and chaos side of evil. The lawful side, or the devils, also known as the Beatizu, who dwell within the 9 hells, are of the belief that evil should be done with structure and order and have a purpose to it, not the primal sort of unfettered chaotic side of evil that the Tanari, or the infinite layers of the abyss dwelling demons, prefer. I don't need to sell everything just yet, but it is worth noting that the sides of good and justice should be most pleased that they continue fighting amongst themselves, for if they were ever to align and declare war perhaps on 3,000 gold Lyril's Tears necklace. That is quite a sum of wealth for a simple necklace. It seems we forgot to identify a couple of our robes here, but that's just fine. We'll find someone in the future who can do that. But as I was saying, it is important that the two sides of evil do not ever join their forces together, for if they would, it could spell disaster for the mortal races and those that believe in good and righteousness. I'm going to sell this Ghoul Touch Scroll. It's a fairly powerful necromantic spell, but unfortunately requires a melee touch attack to be done in order to achieve its effect. Also, Shocking Grasp, not very thrilled with. And melee is not where you want your fragile mage thieves to be exactly. A wyvern head for 500 gold pieces. I don't know what use Theldpost might have for that, but more power to him. He can have it. And these bracers of defense AC 6, they are essentially gloves that dramatically reduce your armor class, but only for someone that does not already have, for instance, heavy plate mail armor on. So I think those will be going to Imoen, as she is the only one in our party without plate mail. And, Robe of the Evil Archmage, worth quite a sum of money. Powerful mage robe offers protection from all forms of physical attack, while at the same time increasing one's magical resistance and saving throws. However, because of the nature of the enchantment, it can only be worn by mages of evil alignment. That's too bad. I don't think that Imoen is going to start murdering and committing violent acts just in order to wear a slightly better mage robe. So we'll go ahead and sell that off and treat ourselves to some Evermead. Big influx of Flaming Fist into town. Don't know why, but it certainly puts them on edge. Certainly. And he also says that things are getting tense between Baldur's Gate and Am. Seems like the Gate's Grand Dukes think Am's been behind all the raiding and the iron shortage too.
Tonight
But of course we know better than that.
Not of blood on a blade or the blood on your hands, but an ichor that runs as a torrent through the realms. A flood that pours across the fields and forests. An ocean that floats you to the world's edge and threatens to cascade off into the void. This blood seems a frightening thing, a massive force that sweeps away all resistance. As a whole, it is a monster and it cannot be stopped. Were it to be viewed from on high, it would seem to cover the entire world in its red-black embrace. You, however, do not have such a lofty perch. From within the deluge, you can see it does not move as one, but is filled with currents, eddies, and undertows. Pockets of calm afford breathing space, whilst violent whirlpools threaten to rend limb from limb. Ultimately, it seems undirected and lacks a driving will, a quality you have in abundance. You may be caught within, but sufficient determination can shape what you need to survive. There are still options open, still choices to be made. As the tide presses forward, you steer as you wish, atop a ship called Persistence and under sails made of resolve. A sudden and deliberate wave puts an end to your course, and to the dream. It would seem that the flood does have some will, and took offense to your enjoying the ride.
I suddenly awakened with surprise on my face. What was that all about? What is happening with these dreams? I've gained another ability of slowing poison. It will come in handy, I'm sure.
Of course, yeah.
How odd. Dream blood. What could this mean? Have to make some sense of that in the context of our further travels. See what more we can find. But for now, let's head west to the High Hedge, where perhaps we can find something else worth spending our money on. Let's do it quite a bit. Stockpiled. High Hedge, we have arrived. It is nighttime. Let's head south and then west. I assume we can enter from all sides, but perhaps not. Khalid shall scout ahead. A skeleton attacking Corin. Oh, that's a lot of skeletons. He can probably handle them by himself, but I'll give him a hand.
Yes.
That's a lot of skeletons. Let's actually try out this turning undead ability. So I'll turn off my AI and activate Turn Undead and see what happens. So there's 3 there. Not really sure what... Oh, it makes them run in fear. Interesting. Oopsies. I want to finish that one off. Or 2 just hack away at these. So that's cool. A good aligned person who uses Turn Undead can oftentimes either make them run in fear, or if powerful enough, destroy them outright. You could simply Turn Undead, and that would spell death again for a lowly skeleton or ghoul and such. Whereas an evil-aligned person using Turn Undead seeks to dominate them, and you can actually take control of, say, a lowly skeleton or something even greater, depending on your level of strength, of will. So, paladins are only able to be good, of course, so they will never do more than make them run in fear or destroy them outright. But an evil cleric might just be able to... Oopsies. Let's get everybody in there. It's safer. An evil cleric might be able to control them. Oh, here's Melicamp still, and Thalantir. Some flesh golems wandering about. Alright. Well, now that we are wealthier, let's see if we can find something of interest here. Let's see. Ooh, interesting. Very, very interesting. The Robe of the Good Archmage. This would wipe out quite a bit of our savings, but I think it's well worth it. Get a nice robe for Imoen. She could certainly use it. And I'm still not too interested in these artifacts of Khazgaroth. Seems like the downsides might not be worth the potential bonuses that they confer. And Imoen, who I think has level 2 spells coming up. We're going to give her an Identify Scroll so she can learn that. Actually, we can just buy... Oh, never mind. It's cheaper to identify... It's actually cheaper to buy the scrolls and use them than to manually do it. But unfortunately, he only had 2 scrolls to sell us. So I think it was Jaheira. Maybe not. It was Khalid who had things to be identified. So we'll identify those 4, and then pass that ring off to Imoen and use her scroll, assuming it survives the ordeal. She did succeed. So we'll use the last one to identify this. The Ring of Folly, also known as the Discipliner, oft the bane of the careless mage, it was actually used to promote humility. Hergot Norin, a grand wizard of Narfell, would give the Discipliner to his most skilled and most egotistical students. Through their blind arrogance, they would mistake the ring as a reward for their obvious brilliance, not a punishment of a disapproving teacher. setting their intelligence and wisdom to 3, and afflicting them with feeble-mindedness. It is a cursed ring, in fact. So I think we're pretty humble and have humility already, so I don't think we'll need that. Go ahead and sell that if we can. The Robe of the Good Archmage, similar to the Evil, other than, of course, the requirement that you must be good. So there we go. And I think that just about trumps every other robe in the game, so I think we can finally sell all those off. We will try our best to do so. Hang on to the rest of these things, I think. And clean up our inventory once and for all. Nobody's going to need the spear or this Morning Star, as far as I know. Go ahead and sell those off. Recoup some of our expenses. I'll hang on to the shield in case we ever find a one-handed weapon for Jaheira. Sell the Discipliner. I'm not going to need a short bow anytime soon. And definitely want to give those bracers to her as well. I think that was everything. Alright, one last perusal over his potions. See if he had any more healing or something of interest. Some enchanted arrows, but I don't think we need those just yet. So, oh, good heavens, look at the time. I'm going to take a quick break and be back in just a moment.